Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so we have the Eight of Cups. Don't worry. I know it looks like a very dark card, but it kind of can, it can be a sign of, and this is what Thoth says, at least the deck, right? Indolence. Okay, so this can be a place where, you're feeling a little stuck, especially emotionally, psychically. There might be a little bit of conflict or feeling like you're at an impasse, right? There's nowhere to go from here unless I just kind of depart the situation, this kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to take a look and see what the tea leaves have to say. And if you want to hit that like button, leave a comment, or subscribe, maybe all three. That would be wonderful. I'd love to hear from you. And also it is free to subscribe. Absolutely. All right, so we have a squirrel. You can see right here in its little tail. So the squirrel represents saving, right? Kind of squirreling things away, preparing for the winter, preparing for those leaner months, okay? So I see you diligently at work. Okay, like just busy. Now, it can feel a little frantic. And that's what I'm thinking. It almost kind of feels like a little directionless, right? Like, you need to be doing something. You know that if you're not preparing, that it's going to be a tough time ahead, but also not really sure where to start. And that's the feeling I'm getting. This kind of, where do I even begin? It feels like so much, right? It feels like just... Well, it reminds me of like when the house is just destroyed, right? It's a mess. The kids have got stuff everywhere. There's dishes piled up. The floor needs to be cleaned. Laundry, all of it, right? Maybe you're getting anxiety just hearing me say all this. I know I am. And you stand there in the middle of your house looking around thinking, I don't even know where to begin. Where do we start? And I'll tell you, you start in the corner. Pick a corner and start working your way around. But I do. I feel like that it's just, there's almost kind of a frustration. Now we also have the word we. We, okay? So not only is this kind of about you, I feel like this is like about you and your spouse, you and your family, you and your kids, you and mom and dad, somebody you're taking care of, somebody that lives with you. There's a sense of like, we need to get on track here. This is something for us both or for us all to do. It's not just going to rest on my shoulders. And that's the big thing, is that I feel like there's almost this, like, I've been overworked. I put so much of myself into trying to get things on track, everything back, moving forward. And it feels like there's maybe some resistance, or maybe not everybody's pulling their weight, or you aren't agreeing about how to do this thing. And then it's like nothing happens. And I think in your head, it's like we're a we. We're like a family unit here. And yet nobody is listening. They're ignoring me. I ask them to do something, they don't do it. It sits there, and then finally I do it, and yeah, I'm angry, and I'm angry about it. So I feel like the real desire is not only to get things in order, but to have the help that you deserve. I feel like, you know, and it's like screaming into the void. Nobody's hearing me. And at this point, it's like I just give up, right? I'm tired of at least like a thank you, not even a thank you. No recognition of what you are doing. But that's not even what you're looking for. I don't think you really care about the recognition. You want help. So let's keep, the other thing is I keep seeing F. F, F, F. And to me, it's kind of just this feeling of, kind of fail. It feels like I'm failing. I don't know how to kind of get things going in the direction that I want them to. But I also want to say worry not, okay? Don't get what's even the word? You know, to a place of like everything feels like it's just falling apart, right? I understand that feeling all too well. I just get so stressed and it's, I give up. I'm done. Never again. You know? And sometimes we need that just to purge those feelings, right? But I feel like, yeah, things are in disharmony right now. But I also see you. Now we have birds that are migrating, 2 of them flying here. We have a sacred deer right here. We also have, it looks like 2 children right here. We have a Capricorn over here. They even have kind of it's the sea goat, whatever that means. But you can see, here's the goat and here's the like weird twisty tail that they have for the Capricorn. But we have a person sitting here holding fire, holding flame, holding kind of, you know, a light that, not unlike a lighthouse, right? A beacon, a passion growing. So I'm looking at this and I'm feeling like there's changes that have to be made, right? Not just talking about it, not just musing about it, not just fighting about it and bickering about it and it all stays the same. These are changes that have to be implemented. Boundaries. A system of doing something. A new routine. And I feel like you're going to have to be the one to kind of take charge here. And that might be, you know, just another layer of like, oh, now I'm in charge of this thing too. Now I have to do this as well. Right? But I think it's worth it. I think it's important for you to kind of let it be known where you're coming from. What you want, what you need. Clearly, not just like this kind of passive dropping hints. No, clearly. These things need to be done. It's not these aren't my chores. These aren't my responsibilities. These are yours and they need to be done. making it very clear. I want partnership. I want help. I want everybody to kind of, get on board with one another. Better communication, less attitude. I'm thinking like these older children, not doing their chores. But I see this kind of subsiding. I see things kind of getting into a place where it's a little more calm, a little more chill. You're feeling a little bit better about life and how things are happening. Now, we have that Capricorn. And they have flowers above their head, musical notes. And I feel like this is a person who you are close with. It might be that this is your spouse, your partner, but I kind of wonder if this is like a good friend. Maybe a parent, mom, sister. But I think this Capricorn person really helps balance you out. This is a very practical thinking person, somebody who thinks about the long game, right? We talked about that squirrel putting things away, saving. This is a person who excels in, planning and saving and doing something with their resources, building up some kind of, empire, legacy. And I think you look up to them. But I also think that you are you're a peer, a contemporary. You don't feel any kind of, intimidation or there seems to be an open line of communication. So I feel like definitely would be of use to you to put energy into this dynamic, spending a little bit more time with them. Having productive conversations. Now, I'm not saying use them as your therapist, right? If you have access to therapy, counseling, a support group, you might think, well, it's not like something terrible is happening in my life. I don't necessarily feel like I need therapy because my kids won't clean up their toys. But listen, I think that we all need somebody to talk to, right? And especially if you have access and the privilege to have that access to somebody like a third person party, like a therapist. There's something to be said about being able to talk to somebody who is uninvolved. They have no stake in what's going on. You're paying them to talk to you. And I know that might not feel as authentic or organic, but I promise you, being able to say something to somebody that they're not going to go talking to anybody about it, or they're not going to judge you. They might have some ideas about how to process through, or, maybe a direction to kind of look towards or whatever. That is very helpful, but I'm very psychotherapy positive. So, but it might be that you really need to talk to this Capricorn person. You spend a little bit more time with them. Invite yourself to lunch. Go and see them. Show up with some flowers, whatever it is. But I think that this is a relationship that helps you kind of see things a little bit more clearly. Okay. Now, I want to take a look. We're going to do 3 of these cards, maybe more. Sometimes I do more. But these are our clarifying cards. And I just kind of want to see what this next period of time is going to kind of look like. Okay. Now, these are the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to flip through. We'll do 3. Choice. Drama. Birth. Choice, drama, birth. So I'm guessing that this is your, maybe family of birth, your blood family. And maybe you are closer with your chosen family. You might even be estranged or no contact or low contact with them. I feel like this is a choice you've had to make because of the dramas. Okay. We're going to do 2 more. I want to see. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we have loss, speculation, health. Okay. So this is not the kind of reading I like to do. I don't like to talk about this kind of stuff. Well, I feel like within the family, there's some kind of health issue. Okay. I don't know that it's diagnosed because it seems like there's a lot of speculation. Now, it could be that somebody transitioned out of nowhere, right? Suddenly, they passed away in their sleep, or, they were not feeling well. They went to the doctor or hospital, and a few days later they transitioned. These kinds of things happen. It does not discriminate at all on age or class or culture or anything. These kinds of things happen. So, now, this could be from the past. I know I asked for the future, but I just feel like it's like because this thing is happening or it has happened, you've been drawn back into your family. And I feel like it is something that is really difficult for you because it's a lot, very dramatic interactions. The dynamic, it feels heavy and oppressive. There's a real darkness, I feel like, even just going back home, right? For, maybe somebody's having a health issue. So you're going back, you're going to go see them, you're, spending more time. And it feels there's turmoil. Not just like turmoil because somebody's sick or you have lost somebody, although that, that in itself is huge. But it feels like it's bringing up so much from your past. And I feel like this is really where this 8 of Cups comes up is, it just feels like it's like almost too much. Not knowing how to kind of deal with all of this. And maybe even kind of feeling a little bit startled by how intense the emotions are. And I feel like you have this kind of instinct to suck it up, right? Just got to get through this. Got to, put on my best face and put my best foot forward, or, whatever the saying is. Let me just mix them together. But I think it's worth looking at how you're feeling. Not necessarily avoiding it. Now I know, grief and the anxiety around health issues and loss and all these things, it can be, it's different for each of us. We don't even know how we will react. you know, when I was just about 30 years old, my first husband passed away when at home, okay? And it was unexpected. And you kind of have an idea of like, well, I know what I would do. I know how I would react. And you kind of know the process, hopefully anyways, you know, like CPR and all that kind of thing. Calling the ambulance, the police, and all that. But when you're in the moment, when it is happening, when you are going through this process of shock and loss and grief, and you don't know. That's why it's important for us to not judge how people grieve or how people are dealing with situations. Sometimes, you know, I mean, goodness, I watch, you know, like true crime stuff. Sometimes you see family members and you're like, what is up with them? You know, they're acting strangely. Well, yeah, they're going through the worst part of their life. You know, and and this is all to say, so be kind to yourself and to the people around you. If this is something that resonates with you, I hope it does not. But if it happens to, this is a time to really, really go out of your way to be understanding with yourself, to be understanding with, you know, your family as much as you can, right? That's not to say you put up with their mistreatments and you don't have to engage in the dramas of things. But we have to, you know, we have to be kind to ourselves. Now, we also have a dog sitting here. And I feel like this is the ultimate sign of friendship, of support, of love. Sometimes you have to be that best friend. Sometimes you have to be that best friend for yourself. For those you love, for those, you know, around you that are going through it. And I think that, you know, in this time, it feels like so much, but it will pass. And I know that you know it will pass. Things will be okay again. Maybe not for a little while. Maybe, you know, maybe even this is, like I said, something that has happened. It's in the past, but you're still going through it. I mean, heck, it could have happened 10, 15 years ago, and you're still going through it. My parents, they passed away when I was, you know, 11 and 12 years old. I still go through it. Lost a lot of people along the way. You know, if you know my history from watching the videos or not, you know I'm, or you might not know, but I'm in recovery for substance abuse. I come from a family of addiction, and you know, those are the kinds of relationships I had as I got older, friendships, people who were in addiction as well, and I've lost a lot of people because of it. And, you know, it never gets easier. It never gets easier. I'm also in recovery, right? So through meetings and stuff, I've met all kinds of people, hundreds of people. And I'll tell you what, it's heartbreaking because a lot of times, you know, people remain struggling and they don't survive their disease. But we have to be understanding with ourselves. We have to, you know, be that best friend that we need. And hopefully, you know, you can have that kind of support. You can be that kind of support for yourself. And, you know, honestly, if I was going through something, to have a Scorpio friend or a partner by my side, I absolutely would feel so blessed in that, because, you know, as much as you all can, you know, you get sometimes a little bit of a bad rap about your temper, or, you know, maybe anger or jealousy or whatever, right? So your capacity to love, unquestionable. It's some of the strongest love that there is. The heart of a Scorpio. The loyalty and devotion of a Scorpio. Here's the thing. If you just treat a Scorpio person well and with respect and with love, and here's the big one too, consideration. I don't worry about a Scorpio stinging me, because I know we're devoted in our friendship, in our kinship, in our fellowship. And that is, you know, that's hard to break. But if you break it, oh boy, you watch out. So I do. I think that your ability to not only help yourself through some of these dark days, but your ability to help those whom you love, whom you care for. There's no comparison to the love and support of the Scorpios. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a look at our Cincy Child affirmation cards, and I'm just going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. And it says, I am intelligent and make decisions that serve my purpose. I am intelligent and make decisions that serve my purpose. Absolutely. All right. Well, Scorpio, I want to tell you I love you, because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Absolutely. Now I'm going to finish up. I'm going to go get in bed. Everybody is getting sick in our household. My daughter's already sick. I felt terrible having to go to work, go do some readings. Poor baby. Thankfully, she was sleeping. But, you know, man, no matter how old these kids get, as soon as they get a little sick, they're like that little baby again. And you have the hardest time prying yourself away from them. So I'm going to get cleaned up here and run up and go cuddle the baby. So anyways, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night, good night, good night.